Hartman won't be a problem anymore, Langston. But investigations need someone to run it. Interested?
I've seen what happens to
course
sector
he
heads,
is.
ma'am. No, thank you.
No?
Ma'am, I'm getting something on my terminal here, an AWE alert from Bright Falls, Washington. But it might be a glitch. The date's all wrong, a couple of years in the future. And we're in lockdown. There shouldn't be any incoming signals.
Maybe it was active before we went into lockdown? Are there agents on site?
Let me check. Agent Estevez is the field agent in charge of monitoring the site, so she should be there to let us know if the situation has been through any major changes recently.
Bit of a hint, bit of a tease.
Things set in motion. If the alarm's true, then so is the reason for the alarm. The effect must follow the cause. It's happening again. A return. You
Okay.
have been warned.
So that is the setup for Alan Wake 2, I'm guessing. The third thing! Yes, I'm already here. Okay, well, we can properly explore this now, without getting distracted by big giant boss enemies. Also, it's all nice and brightly lit. Also, they've done a replica of Bright Falls, but they've not actually done much with it. Like, Ordinary looked way more detailed than this does. You have to wonder what's going on. Something over here. Bright Falls supplement in 1976.
Kind of looks like Dylan's cell. I wonder
Does,
if they
doesn't
treated
it?
him as badly.
Don't give it in!
What the? What? I just finished fighting in here. Are you serious? Why is this happening now? Honestly. Just finished a big boss fight. Why am I fighting more things? I want to die to these things. Right. Let's see. Can I see someone? Not yet. At least my ranger buddy's still around. Come on. Come on. There we go. I can see you now. There we go. Okay. We done? I think we're done. Yeah, I kind of wish the game would just let you explore for a bit. Like, you don't need to keep throwing enemies at me every 15 minutes. Just let me look around, thank you. Anyway. Okay, so here's the cell that Hartman was in. Kind of like in the cell. There's a recording here which we'll listen to properly in a minute. Is there anything to do on the higher levels of the house? Got a walkway. Oh, I can't actually... No, I can. I was wondering if I could actually kind of just like stay on there, but looks like I can. Is there anything in this corner? Nope. Using gunfire to kind of light my way. Anything over here? Doesn't look like it. Ooh, aha! Treasure! Trying to be sneaky. Thank you for the treasure. Really? It's not even that good. Like, if this is the final confrontation of the AWE DLC, you'd think that this would have been like one of the best mods in the game. You know? Just to make clearing out everything else a lot easier. No, nothing over here. Okay. Check over here instead. Can't break through those windows. Oop. Okay. Alright, I think we're done. But first, let's have a look at all the stuff we picked up. So, missions are done. Collectibles, research and record. So, the Alice Wake interview. Interview 65 from Alice Wake. After reaching out to the Bureau, Alice Wake was brought into the oldest house for an interview on blank 2017. See file blank for the full transcript. The interview, conducted by Agent Sharon Dempsey, revealed that Mrs. Wake has had recurring nightly visitations from her missing ex-husband in her New York apartment addressed blank. Mr. Wake appears out of nowhere and rushes at her down the corridor. According to her impression, he appears crazy and horrifying, clearly coming at her with violent intent. Mrs. Wake believes that he is haunting her, insisting he is not Alan but a fucking monster in his body. Mrs. Wake has not been sleeping out of the fear of these visits. Is that her attempts to keep the lights on through the night result in the relevant hallway's light bulb breaking every night, possibly indicating involvement of the blank. Further investigation is required. We propose installing monitoring equipment in the apartment. Copies of supply request form L5014 have been sent to Mr. Kirkland and administration for approval. Got the Wake evidence. A photograph of Alan Wake captured by Alice Wake during an event in her home. Alice Wake, former wife of Alan Wake, see AW 35 for details, has recently been visited at night by her ex-husband or entity resembling him, see file blank for more. Being a professional photographer, Mrs. Wake positioned cameras with motion sensors around the corridor he appears in and managed to capture an image of Mr. Wake on film. During an interview with Mrs. Wake, she mentioned that her favorite camera, a blank model, was lost in 2010 during AWE 35. No match has been found among the confiscated evidence from AWE 35. It has been filed as a potential altered item and research staff stationed at Bright Falls after being contacted to check if they have any knowledge of such an item. And the photograph itself is that one, which is very creepy. Yes. Yeah, to be honest, if I took a picture of someone at night chasing me and that was what I saw, that would be pretty horrifying. That would be scary. So I don't blame Alice for being concerned. Case files. So, the Bright Falls Submarine, 1976, AWE 10. An unconfirmed threshold manifestation occurred at Cauldron Lake. The citizens of Bright Falls had gathered in the town's southwestern fields for the annual festival known as Deerfest. Eyewitnesses all claimed the day had been sunny, confirmed by reviews of the area's weather reports, but then with no warning, a thunderstorm appeared in the direction of the Anderson farm and a tornado rose from Cauldron Lake. The torrential rain that followed caused a flash flood. It was as if the day had turned to night, testimony from blank. Frank Breaker, the sheriff of Bright Falls, formerly a bureau agent, see employee file blank, managed to guide the crowd to safety as the festival grounds were destroyed by the flood. The festival was cancelled, ending one day early. Lack of official bureau presence on the scene makes this event difficult to report as a confirmed AWE, though the similarity to other known events in the Bright Falls area lend credence to the accounts of the townspeople. And then the supplement to this. On the day of the flooding, the rock band Old Gods of Asgard was rehearsing in a field outside the Anderson farm, the homestead of band members Odin and Tor Anderson. Both admitted to being in a heavy state of inebriation at the time, having spent days drinking their homebrewed moonshine while celebrating Deerfest. After the townspeople were evacuated from the flooded field, Sheriff Breaker was asked by Freya Anderson, daughter of Tor Anderson, to check on her father and uncle. Breaker drove to the Anderson farm and found the band members alive but in need of medical aid. Tor Anderson had been struck by lightning, and Odin Anderson had cut out his own right eye, a possible reference to Norse deities Thor and Odin. They claimed they had fought and valiantly defeated a dark army with a scratching hag rising from Cauldron Lake, see AWE 35 of 1970, related to the suspected blanket Diver's Isle, so it's not 35 then. While impossible to verify, these events are relevant to the recurring AWE at Bright Falls and Cauldron Lake. Odin and Tor Anderson have been listed as persons of interest. That's actually quite cool. So Old Gods of Asgard do the song that is in Ashtray Maze. There are obviously references to Odin and Thor in Norse deities. Yeah, it all links together somewhat. And then we've also got this, Dr. Hartman's notes of the next steps.
These are the notes of Dr. Emil Hartman. I'm continuing my work, alone again, since certain parties were too blind to recognize a golden opportunity. Despite my generous offers, the conversations came to naught. Some people simply do not value collaboration as I do. Though I believe now that it was for the best. The sort of bold, pioneering work that I am undertaking cannot thrive under the shackles of bureaucracy and regulation. I have a history of seeking such partnerships. There was a time when I had hoped Alan Wake and I could collaborate. Together we could have produced art such that the world has never seen. But Wake was stubborn, egotistical. Writers usually are. Disappointing nonetheless. But now, like Tom before him, Wake has disappeared into Cauldron Lake. And this is where my work turns hypothetical. Since he was lost to the lake, Thomas Zane has been observed by various townspeople. This indicates to me that the individuals within the lake are not entirely gone. I anticipate Wake will similarly return one day. While I may harbor some resentment for the man, his raw talent and determination are undeniable. From this, I have concluded that the lake and the dark place within it are not as removed from this world as I previously thought. Given my acute awareness of what awaits within, my meticulous preparations, and my considerable education, I believe myself much more prepared than either Tom or Wake. I should be able to cross into that dark realm with the chance to return as they have.
Nope.
All that remains is the dive itself. It frightens me, I admit, but such is the burden of the truth seeker. I will take my plunge into the dark tomorrow, with only the light of knowledge to guide me. It is time for a breakthrough. Until I return.
Yeah, there's a certain level of arrogance that Hartman had to be like, yes, I must be the one to venture into the dark place. And he's like, yeah, Thomas and Alan went in and nothing, you know, nobody's can see them anymore. But it'll be fine for me, sure, you know? I think they were deluding themselves. But yeah, I guess this all serves as a kind of setup for Alan Wake 2, as it were. Hello. What's that? Steel dodge efficiently. Nice screen screenplay. Whoop. Okay. Why on earth is there a button down here for this? That makes no sense. Why would you have a button there? You would never need to. I guess if you got trapped down there for maintenance reasons. I guess. Maybe. I don't know. Yeah, I guess that might have been the last little, you know, research and records thing to pick up. The screenplay. But since it's light now, we can actually have a look around. Right Falls! Very nice, very nice. Some aerial photographs, don't touch. So these are all pictures from the Alan Wake game, I'm assuming. Yep, Bright Falls, there's the sundial. All very classified indeed. Okay. So, we'll have a look at that screenplay. The scientist turns from what used to be his director, now transformed into a stranger, an alien that only resembles the director in form. He drops his all-important clipboard as he stumbles towards the closing portal, but the horrible entity is already rushing through it in a flow of insanity and chaos. The scientist becomes caught in it, and the entity devours him, screaming as it enters our world. The director lifts his pistol to his head. His hand is steady, sure in its finality. Or so I thought. Camera fades to black and a gunshot is heard. And so, our hunger for control, our obsession for domination and power, the hubris at play in this children's puppet show we're starring in can only lead to our fall from control. To submit to those who really hold the strings and control us. Night Springs. Did you really need to mention control that many times? Like 3 in a single sentence? Come on now. So, yeah, that is that. That is the Control AWE DLC complete. I have to say, I always liked more Control, like reading through all the, unique different altered items and events that happened is all really interesting. Like, it's, you know, it's part of what makes this game so appealing. But this DLC is not really Control. It's just, it's set up for Alan Wake. And it's nice, like, you know, Remedy were like, hey, we're gonna, you know, tie all these universes together, all these games in one thing. That's a really cool idea, you know? And it kind of is, but also it's like, well, could you not have just made this stand on its own as being part of Control? Like, it's hard to say whether, you know, the fact that Alan was mentioned in this and you get like snippets of him through his typewriter pages and so on, but you never actually see him, you never actually interact with him, you don't interact with Thomas Zane either. You know, it's like, well, what was the point of this? You know? I'm gonna go back to Central Executive and just see if there is anything else we can do, anybody else we can talk to. The funny thing is that Emily wasn't part of this at all, so she's got nothing new to say in terms of Bright Falls. I guess it would be Langston, if anything, would have something new to say. So I can try going back to the Panopticon and see if Langston's got new things to say. Because he's the only one that doesn't move to Central Executive, because Arish is there, Marshall was there before she dies in Foundation. Who else is there? Really only those two? Langston's and Panopticon. Yeah, there's not actually that many NPCs you talk to on a friendly basis. So yeah. Oh well. We'll do this. We'll have a quick chat with Emily, see if anything's changed. Probably not though. So anything new?
Hi, Jesse.
Hello. Yeah, nothing new
Well,
there.
I'll see you soon. I'm Director Faden. Not even as a joke.
Not even as a joke. Arish has had nothing new to say for a while now, so we're not even going to bother talking to him. Let's go to the Panopticon. Here. And we'll have a chat with Langston. I assume Langston's got new stuff to say, because he was talking to us over the intercom. But again, we never interacted with him in person. He never moved. So it's like... Yeah, I think this DLC... The problem with this is that I don't think it would have been worth the value of it full price. Like, I got the season pass on sale, so that means I, you know, got both the Foundation and AWE for a cheaper price, and I think it is worth the price that I paid for it. But yeah, it just feels like a lot of, here's some setup and, you know, wait a couple of years. Like, well, doesn't really tie anything off, as it were. Again, I'm speaking as someone that's never played Alan Wake or even any of the other Remedy games like Quantum Break or, you know, stuff like that. So maybe if I had played all those different games, I would have more to do, more to say about this.
I'm worried about Alfred.
Hey, Langston.
Hi there, ma'am. How's the fridge repair coming along?
Are you joking? He has nothing new to say. Yeah. Okay. Well,
see you later,
that's that then.
I'll be here.
Yeah.
Like always.
So, the AWE DLC ends. Like, it doesn't even feel like it's got a finality to it, you know? It's just, yeah, Hartman's gone. So, yeah, I guess that kind of wraps up Control as a whole. It's, you know, a bit of a weird ending. It's not really an ending, but it's one of those things. It's like, hey, look forward to more stuff. And it's like, sure, but that's not going to come out for a couple of years, and there's going to be a whole new generation of consoles for that to happen, you know? Yeah, I guess I'll just wrap it up here. So, thank you for watching this Control AWE playthrough. Apologies for messing up with the capture cables and capture card and so on, because it has only happened during the Control DLC playthrough, so I apologize for that. I think we've found the source of the problem is the Elgato capture card is, well, it's 5 years old now, and I guess it must just have worn out too much, so it's not working as well as it has. So I've got the cheap replacement capture card currently installed, and it seems to be working okay now that I've got the audio coming through as well. So we'll see how it goes with this, and if you know, if we need to get a replacement Elgato specifically, then we'll look into that. But for the time being, I think this works. So yeah, I'm gonna quit to the menu, I think. But we're not gonna finish off streaming just here. I will be switching over to some Fall Guys. So I'm going to go ahead and go to an intermission screen, and we will check out the Fall Guys mid-season update, because I have not actually played it since that happened. So, be right back.